Senior leaders of the Democratic Alliance are expected to attend the funeral of their slain colleague, Nhlalayenza Ndlovu, this morning. The party has offered a reward of R1 million to anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of the killers. Ndlovu, who served as the party's chief whip in uMngeni, was gunned down at his home on Tuesday night. Police are still investigating the motive behind the suspected political killing. We now take you live to Mpofana in KwaZulu-Natal. That's where our reporter Karinda Jagmohan is ahead of Ndlovu's funeral service. Karinda, good to speak to you this morning. Very somber day, I'd imagine. Have there been any leads yet from the police?
Certainly a somber day. Indeed, the family, relatives, friends, colleagues of Mr. Ndlovu are asking the same question. Are there leads right now? The police have not confirmed anything, but like you mentioned, the party itself have put up a further amount of money, R1 million, asking for information that may lead to the arrest of the perpetrators in this murder. We were here in Mpofana at the foothills of part of the Drakensberg mountain where Mr. Ndlovu will be laid to rest. Members of the DA, family, friends gathered. So Mr. Francois Rogers here as well, the leader of the DA in KwaZulu-Natal. Sir, thank you for speaking to us on this tough day for the party. For the past week, you've spoken to family, to colleagues. Tell us about how you found Mr. Ndlovu to be as a person in your party.
Yeah, Karinda, it is a sad day, and it's a sad end to what's been a good year for us in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. You know, Nhlalayenza was just a good human being. He was such a gentle soul. He was a family man. He was a community-driven person. And he was looking after communities as we see here. You know, one of the last times I saw him was at a sporting event, and he had his children with him. You know, so he was a really good soul. And it's so sad that we have to lose good people to this, you know, this callous type of murder. It's a senseless, and you know, one feels sad, but it angers us at the same time.
Certainly does so, sir. The scourge of political killing continues in our province. I understand the DA is part of that multi-party intervention task team, but in your view, what has that team done so far, and what needs to be done going forward?
Well, Karinda, as far as I'm concerned, it's achieved very little. You know, a few months ago, I had written to all of the political leaders, and I'd said, let's have a dialogue, let's sit round a table, let's look at the Morani Commission and the resolutions in those Morani Commissions, and let's start putting those. Well, I'm sad to say only one party actually acknowledged. The leading parties, the IFP and the ANC, didn't even bother to respond. And I think that's a poor indictment on the political leadership, because you know, other than looking at our security forces, our intelligence, this is also going to take political intervention to deal with this senseless killing that we see.
It certainly does so. The Morani Commission of Inquiry looked at killings in the lead up to elections. What are your concerns as we go into the 2024 election, coming from what has just happened?
Well, it's of grave concern. You know, we've sort of stayed on the periphery of political violence. Now we're part of it. Our public representatives are clearly now a target, and it is a worry going into the 2024 elections. But this is why we're taking a very strong stand in this particular case. We're putting up R1 million for any arrest and conviction. We have also now engaged forensic experts from the UK and in South Africa. We've got an independent prosecutor who's putting that team together. And where SAPS fail, I'm afraid we will have to intervene and play the role of SAPS. But we'll leave no stone unturned, because we're not going to be intimidated. And whoever was behind this, there must be a mastermind behind this. That is the individual that we need to hold accountable and see him put behind bars.
And just lastly, sir, Mr. Ndlovu said he did feel threatened prior to his death. He made those comments. Have you spoken to the uMngeni Mayor, Mr. Chris Pappas, about the safety of other councillors, members of the uMngeni local municipality?
Well, indeed. We're going to have to review exactly how we operate as public representatives and the security of those public representatives. The sad part is it all comes at a cost. You know, the minute you start getting additional protection, whether it's through the municipality or the province, That's money that should be spent on service delivery. And it's just going to be spent on bodyguards. But I think, Nhlalayenza's death mustn't just be another killing. I think now is the time. And we believe that the steps we're going to take to bring those to book must send out a clear message. Politicians are off limits to these ruthless killers.
Certainly so. Thank you for your time, Mr. Rogers, speaking to us ahead of the funeral service of the person who has been described as a kind person. The last time Mr. Rogers saw Mr. Ndlovu was at a sporting event with his young daughters. But you must know that on Monday, Mr. Ndlovu, 46 years old, was killed outside his home in front of his children, his daughters, and he'll be laid to rest today. We'll hear from his family, we'll hear from his colleagues, but also this important message is that the scourge of political killings needs to end in this province. In KwaZulu-Natal, we know this is a major issue happening across various parties, and now we see most recently this party also affected by it, and we hear the leader of the DNKZN say more needs to be done with regards to that task team that was supposed to intervene in this and ensure that the Morani Commission of Inquiry findings are implemented. We'll see how this moves going up to the next election.
Karinda, very strong words from Francois Rogers, but we also see in the background individuals coming or arriving at this funeral. Just unpack for us what today's program is looking like.
Certainly, as you see family members come through, my colleague Lungelo Zungu perhaps will just show you some of the members of the DA just behind us as well. We'll take you there to show you family as well that are filing to this hall. We expect speakers from the Ndlovu family to come through to speak about the person he was. Of course, he gave much of his life to the party in terms of his work as being the chief whip for the DA in the uMngeni local municipality. But then also we expect to hear from members of the party as well who will speak about the work he's done. A lot of the messaging today we expect to be around the call for more information to come forward that would lead to the arrest of the perpetrators. And like we heard Mr. Rogers saying there, you see some of the family members as well. An amount by 1 million rand has been put up by the Democratic Alliance in KwaZulu-Natal to ask for people to come forward, for anyone with information that will lead to a successful arrest of the perpetrators in this crime. We hear that Mr. Ndlovu said he was threatened shortly before his death because of issues that had occurred where there had been electricity issues in Mpophomeni, and ultimately he said that he felt his life was in danger. Now we hear that there will be a review of members of that municipality, which is led by the DA, one of the first municipalities to be led by the DA in KZN. There will be a review of members there just to look at their safety and to look whether they need additional security, and if so, it will be an additional financial matter for the municipality, something we hear could be put towards service delivery. But the state of political killings in KwaZulu-Natal say that now the people at points of governance needs to be protected because of the scourge of political assassinations.
Karinda, Jagmohan coming to us on Profana in KwaZulu-Natal. Thanks for your time this morning.